Every single astronaut who walked on the moon, all 12, got sick from it. Their symptoms were similar to seasonal allergies on Earth, like sneezing, sore throat, congestion, and watery eyes. The moon dust is deceptive. It looks soft and fluffy, but it's actually sharp, like little shards of glass. On Earth, natural processes like wind and water soften dust, but the moon doesn't have that, so its dust looks like this. And because of the lower gravity, the dust gets everywhere. This is an astronaut who's covered in dust because he took off his suit after walking on the moon. The lunar dust is so abrasive that it ate away layers of the astronaut's boots and the vacuum seals of the sample containers. And if that wasn't enough, lunar dust is also electrostatically charged because of extreme solar radiation. And when they were able to smell it in the spacecraft after the landings, the astronauts said that the lunar dust smelled like burnt gunpowder. How are we going to live on the moon if we're all just going to be allergic to it?
Hi, I'm a board-certified allergist, and I'm going to give you more context about this lunar dust problem from a medical standpoint and talk to you about a potential solution that has been proposed to this problem already. You may look at this and think that this looks like the Death Star, but it's actually a microscopic image of a grass pollen grain, which can cause typical allergy symptoms such as sneezing, runny nose, stuffy nose, and cough. But the issue is that grass pollen grains, as well as other pollens, are usually bigger than lunar dust particles. So those images you saw earlier of dust particles from the moon actually can get deeper into someone's airways because they're much smaller. While we don't fully understand how lunar dust can affect our lung health chronically, this paper gives us some insight into this because what they did was they challenged lung cell cultures to lunar soil and found that there was cell death and DNA damage directly happening to the lung tissue. This type of damage is not what is seen with allergic inflammation that you talk about with typical allergies or asthma. So this is a really significant problem because once a spacesuit is coated with this lunar dust and you take that suit off, you are going to get inhalational exposure, and we don't want chronic exposure to these particles because it could have really significant impacts on our health. Now, one of the potential solutions comes from Washington State University. Researchers over there, they have this idea where they use liquid nitrogen to try to gently separate these moon dust particles from spacesuits, and they actually use Barbie dolls to test this theory. They ran 233 tests on 26 simulated spacesuits using materials that simulated lunar space dust, and they found that the liquid nitrogen was able to gently remove more than 98% of these dust particles. The reason why this may work is due to the Leidenfrost effect, where when you drop liquid on a hot surface, it tends to bead and hover over that, so the liquid nitrogen is able to gently push away lunar dust particles. In 2019, NASA launched the Lunar Surface Innovation Initiative program to try to address this lunar space dust problem, and so multiple solutions may come in the future.